a
Snap,
second to
oh,
set the
snap, oh, snap, oh, snap. Recording real quick, like. Good morning, good morning.
So, before we get into the topic of the day, I wanted to set the mood a little bit. I know that we're all scurrying around. I know I was, with a million things on my mind that I was working on, and not making any time for this or that. And what I was worried about were things like money and Facebook pages, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. When death arrives, it arrives. You don't have any control over it. You don't get to jump up and smack Chris Rock because it's here. You get slapped by it without a choice. Now, in life, nothing is permanent. One thing we know in the end will come our way. The ultimate leveler of all. That which makes all equal. You will turn your head and you will see death. Over and over again in your life, the older you get, the more times you will have been through it. Friends, family, parents. I died yesterday. His name was Jason Lyle. He was 33 years old. He had spent all of his life addiction, fighting with. Recently, he had reached out. We had talked for the first time in many decades. We were estranged. He was excited. We talked about the decisions I had to make back then. The hard decisions about how to save children. And he forgave me. Told me he understood. Told me he knew I was doing what I had to, just as well. He was excited. He wanted to come here and work. He wanted to make music with us. He had friends who he wanted to have make music with us. He wanted to have a part in changing the world. I'm here to say he always will, because he is with me and always has been. In his passing, the selfish part of me, this is the opportunities we could have had. So I beat myself up for that. Us being estranged and me not being there for him more, even if he didn't feel like that would have been appropriate anyways, and he supported me, it doesn't matter. Do I feel that? Yeah, I do. And it's hard in these situations when we lose people, especially when we lose people like this. That when this horrible, quote unquote, medicine that was given to all of us takes so many of us. I've watched child after child this battle. I was fortunate recently to have been able to say that all three of those children made it through that addiction. That is no longer true. Jason, I will miss you. I'll miss your laugh. this much respect he had for me, which sounds odd, but it was just something about the way he would speak to me that always made me feel. Alright. So death. Not just the simple deaths of overdose or the loss and grief. We struggle with it. And it is the one thing that is guaranteed. We fight it. We're sure somehow we're going to overcome it. Even though we all know this is a battle we will lose. I often look at people and go, I have no idea about before or after. In a spiritual sense, in a physical sense, I don't have the physics to explain it. When I talk about all of the different spiritual things, one of the things that cements the pieces I find as true wisdom is whether or not they also manage to fit into a unified field theory. I don't have a unified field theory for this. I don't have any idea about what happens next. I'm not attached to it because I've never been there. Someday I guess I'll know. Some of us postulate it's just a circle, you just start over. There's that whole, are you reborn? Do you get another chance? But then that carries a whole thing about being punished from a previous life, and then I just feel like you're back into original sin and stop it. Everybody gets a new fresh start. We're here. Here is where we can make a difference and make a change. All I can do with any of this is just try to do the best I can and learn whatever lessons those people died for.
I didn't see heaven as something I could even care about until I had someone that I felt like would have gone to heaven.
Brahma?
Yeah. It was that.
Alright, folks, I'm spoken today at the death show.
She was a very judgmental person, and in a lot of ways she was very hard to deal with, but she was also a very loving and a very caring person and a very good person. And if I've ever known anybody, she was the first person to actually make me think that there could be a heaven, there could be something better to look forward to, maybe, because I guess I wanted to have hope that I could see her.
You want to have hope
again.
that you could see her again.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
And
I don't know that. I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I argue that everyone is actually agnostic on the whole heaven and hell thing.
Exactly.
A lot of
literally
people
can't know.
Well, there are people that faithfully know, but I'm going, wait a minute. There's got. I don't mean that as a doubt on anybody's faith.
Yeah.
I apologize. I mean that as me trying to figure out. I endlessly go, those are questions I don't need to know. I don't. That's a new adventure. I'm on this adventure right now.
I don't mean it that way either, but I will say one of the things that used to annoy me about when someone around me would die is when
smell. Or you don't mean like right next to you and
no,
die.
Luckily,
you mean
I've never had it.
Oh, okay, cool. I apologize for the smell comment then. I have heard that when people die, they poop.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And so I thought maybe you could, if you died. No, not if you died next to somebody, but
if I died next to someone, I wouldn't smell anything.
Would you poop though?
Probably. I think one of the things that used to annoy me, and I go back and forth on it, is when people would say things like, "Oh, they're in heaven smiling," or they wouldn't want you to be sad or anything, like stuff like that. Like it always made me uncomfortable how people go for comfort in times of death. And it may sound weird, but
no, I think you and I think similarly.
I very much try to immerse myself in reality as much as possible when someone dies. like when my father passed away, and we talked about this, like a lot of the thoughts that you're describing yourself having, I had a lot of those same thoughts.
I kind of knew that. I kind of knew that we have both been down a path where we've been with addicts. And you would do anything under the sun. I didn't know he was. I talked him into staying in the halfway house. He was going to jet out of it not quite a month ago. And I talked him into staying. I didn't know that about a week ago. He got the wheres and wherefores don't matter. Wasn't there. And I think we both ended up feeling like, God, I wish they'd reached out. Now, you ended up finding out that it wasn't actually an OD when your father passed. You got hit by a car, correct?
Yeah. But I will say that a lot of what went through my brain when it first happened was,
Right.
and
You
then,
took it on you.
and then the immediate thought of, well, how could you have? How could you have done more?
Right.
And
But you feel it.
but I still
And I
feel.
think you have to accept
Yeah.
that you feel that. Like, I think you need to. So my thing is, a lot of people beat themselves up for those feelings. And I'm a big one for, my mom will love this, for inviting my demons to tea. No, that's her idea,
Yeah,
is that what you
yeah.
do is you sit down with your demons, you have tea with them, and you go, okay,
Yeah,
you find out why they're there,
pretty much.
and you use that for the next round.
Yeah.
I thought I was reaching out more. Really, he was just reaching out to me, and I wasn't reaching out much. It is not the impermanence of life that makes us suffer. It is our lack of acceptance of it. That the most beautiful flower you see will wilt. Flower. And you still have it.
Most beautiful sunset you ever see with the over sun.
But that doesn't mean you lose it. It's not here. That these people are a part of what we do every day. They're a part of who we are. The greatest honor, I think, that you can give those who pass isn't lamenting their death, running off to the bar, using stronger drugs because you can't deal with it. Learning the lesson they've already paid so hard for. They've paid the ultimate price. Have you not go down that road?
And every when my father died, there was a different thing than when other people had died in my life.
Right.
And it was the first time that I realized I have to blame myself. As much as I don't think that that's the way to continue living, I have to have a period of time where I think it's my fault, so that I know, okay,
That
it's
your
not
fault.
my fault.
That you have to
But
give yourself
there were
time to logic
things-
it out.
There were things that I could have done better, and in the future,
I want to change that.
I want to change. Exactly.
Right. No,
I don't-
I'm with you.
It's almost like I have to hold this for the time being, just so that I can figure out what I need to work on.
I think it's what happens is that it's like being handed an onion,
Yes, you have to peel it back.
and you're gonna cry like a motherfucker.
There's gonna be some layers that are kind of dingy.
Right. And that
Yeah.
inside though is gonna be sweeter. That
Yes.
really there are these lessons that you didn't pay for.
Yes.
As much as we take it personally, this loss, we are not the one that had to pay for these lessons. There is somebody that paid the ultimate price for these lessons for us.
100%. Only advice that I ever give to someone that's experienced a death recently is, don't judge yourself for feeling what you're feeling. Just feel what you're feeling and go with it. Do not judge yourself. It will pass. It will not be here forever. The way that you feel right now will not be here forever. You don't need to judge yourself for feeling that. But if
Yeah.
you run away from it, it will come back.
It will fester.
It will fester. It will stay there. It will grow.
Oh,
it will
and
compound the next
I'm
time.
going to break my rule for F-bombs. Because and somewhere in my
Yeah.
book on Amazon,
Yeah.
Think Pages, Zen and the Art of Madness, Uncle Fester will fuck you up. I always pictured Uncle Fester from the Addams Family, and Don, you're out there somewhere. Don was sitting next to me, so I kind of modeled Uncle Fester on Don. And I drew Uncle Fester, and I just put Uncle Fester will fuck you up. Okay, you have to let yourself work through it.
100%.
You have to find what you can.
I would also say being present where you are is the most important thing you can do at this time. When you're around people, enjoy their presence. And when you're by yourself, be by yourself and enjoy your own presence and take that time that you need, because
If you need to cry, cry.
exactly, when you lose somebody close to you, it's very easy to end up isolating and just staying by yourself all the time and not wanting to talk to people and shutting people out. But it's also very easy to stay around people all the time and to not deal with it and to not
just
take
hide
that
it.
time to deal with it yourself, because there's going to be some feelings that no matter how much you try to explain to other people, they won't understand.
You know what? I
At
think
least I feel.
and I feel like as you get older,
Mm-hmm.
more of us have a reference point.
Right.
18, younger than 18. You don't have all the references yet.
That's very true, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I lost a grandfather like early when I was 9, but it's not like
Yeah.
there's
me
a
too.
difference to it.
I think
It's
I was about
not-
9 when my grandpa died too.
Yeah, it's like it's not as real.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a big death. Somebody will pass. Then it always just felt like then all at once. So, in dealing with death, I'm going to open up and go, it took me years to come to peace with my father. A lot of it was I didn't deal with it at the time. For instance, I got into arguments about making up the call sheet, how I wanted to be and how that was. Anyways, but then so I decided when asked if I wanted to speak, I didn't even get up to say anything. I acted all like a stupid kid. That's the behavior I had for the pizza years. I was pretty crazy. And my dad's here with us, in organic form in a vase. He was cremated. And I would see him in my hallway mirror on the regular. And then I took a bunch of pictures where I also then color adjusted them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it was when I was doing my hipster thing. My dad always had a beard. They literally look like my dad. They don't look like me. And the day it finally made sense with him, I was not in my right head. I was pharmacologically adjusted. And I looked in the mirror and I was one half of it. The shadow side it looked like him staring at me, but we each had half of the face.
I vividly remember the last time I spoke to my dad. I was terrified because I saw the place he was in. I saw the pain he was in.
Yeah.
I saw the shame. I saw
We have to figure out a way to make people be able to get help.
I saw so much in his face that I couldn't figure out how to unravel. And it made me it made me feel like if I'm not careful, I will turn into him.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
It it ate at me for a while, and when he passed, it was like, one, you didn't do enough. You didn't get everybody else to do enough. Didn't didn't help the way that in the ways that you needed to help.
That you could, like,
You-
you look back and you see a million red
you
flags in a
wasted
million
time.
spots. You
Yeah.
see places, you're like, man, if I turned left here instead of right,
Exactly.
if I had done this instead, man, it wouldn't have cost me anything.
Yeah.
I'm not talking like, oh my God, if I had put out this monumental effort, you look back and you see all the spots where you could have lifted a finger, and they burn and they hurt because you're like, wait a minute, I didn't. Hindsight is so 2020 that in the moment you're doing the best you can, but then something like this happens and you're like going,
I
I
was
guess I wasn't.
I was 12 when my father's sister died. It was the first time I blamed myself for something like that. I remember I was at my friend's house and he OD'd in the living room. And my mom found him. Got the police, or got the paramedics, and he was gone.
He was your dad or this
This is my sister's dad.
Oh, your sister's dad. Okay,
Yeah.
I follow.
Yeah, so he was gone already. When she found him, he was gone.
Right.
And
Did you see the?
no. She had called my friend's mom and told her what happened, but she told her not to tell me until
It was cleaned up.
until everything was taken care of. Because I would have ran home. Like I wasn't close enough to run home, but I would have ran home. And it was so like my mom was in such a place at the time that I didn't even have the time to deal with how I felt. And I will say that when my dad died, a lot of what I felt, like when my stepdad died, came back.
Right.
And I felt like what I was going through was very much compounded, and I needed to deal with everything I was going through. It wasn't just my dad dying that felt bad at that time. It wasn't just that. I had to deal with all of these things that I had avoided talking about,
Death
discussing.
was beyond real, and now you had to face it.
Yes, it was. And when people would come to me with their advice and stuff, I would, as much as I loved the support and I loved the advice and I loved all of that, I realized that all of that is not going to help me deal with what I'm feeling inside. I have to make it a priority to take the time to deal with what I'm feeling inside. It's not going to go away.
Right.
It's not going to move itself. I got to move this rock myself. Death is never a thing that's easy to deal with.
No, it's not. I don't. Here's the weird thing. I deal with death really well.
I would say I do too, but
No. Here's it. No. Let me. It's not the death part that messes me up.
mm-hmm.
I've accepted that good or bad, everything will pass. Okay, I'm in a space where I can see that already. I know that what I'm upset about is about my ego. It's about me trying to figure out why it's all my fault. It isn't, as much as it feels weird saying that, like that's not how I feel, but I know that I don't blame somebody. No, I don't. It's more, I look back and see those spots like we were talking about. Like, not afraid of death for me. It doesn't scare me. God, I'm tired of grief? You know your dad had hopes and was trying to get it straight. So was Jason. These aren't people that are going, oh, I wish I was down in the bottom. These are people in their bottom.
Sad part about
This
that
is
is
people in their bottom.
sad part about that is
How old was he?
46, 46.
46. I want to say my dad was 54. So I always keep a clock ticking in the back of my head. My brother dropped from a heart attack. Not dead, mind you. I apologize for that. Yeah. But that he had a massive heart attack. His heart's. We have heart disease in the family. It's a concern in the sense for me that everything passes in front of me. And the hard part is I can get lost in the, oh, shit, I have things to get done. And then not be prioritizing the importance of it.
I would say that I've been very good at dealing with death only because I would say that sometimes I'm very good at compartmentalizing,
Yeah, me too.
and I'm very good at putting aside when I need to help someone else with their feelings and when I need to help myself with my own feelings.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you feel like you avoid yours more? Is it easier to help somebody else than it is to deal with?
I feel like
In all seriousness, I feel like sometimes, oh, your problems are bigger. Let me worry about yours.
I feel like it is, but it's like when my father passed, I I I almost cried. We went to go see him, and I almost cried. The true time that I came the closest to crying was when I saw my sister cry.
Mm.
That was when it really hit me. That was when it really affected me. It really like touched me, and I had to comfort her. I didn't have time for my tears. I didn't have energy for my tears. I had to comfort her.
Well, so I'm also in a global men's leadership group.
Mm-hmm.
And what we as men, more so than women, at least in our culture, it's a cultural thing, it's a societal thing.
Not to say that women can't.
Well, that we are held back.
Yes.
We feel the responsibility of tending to others prior, and it's a masculine feminine thing that is a very
It's not
it's
a
not
conscious
healthy.
thing. It's not a conscious thing. It's
No.
very much a flip of a switch. It's
But you've been taught your whole so one of the and this is so one of the things you end up in these men's groups talking about is kind of that thing. Well, let me first off say that what an amazingly supportive group last night. I did not think I was bringing a bomb to the party, if you will. I kind of just said, hey, I'm dealing with this, surgery in the family, and and everything was crazy, and then my son died. And it was really nice that they felt more comfortable reacting than I felt asking for them to react.
okay.
That we were originally going to talk about something else. We had a different topic. We went around, did check-ins, just like you do in any group.
Yeah.
You have to have a way for everybody to kind of go, okay, what space are we in today?
Yeah.
The interesting thing was we were all in a weird space. There were a couple guys not, but a lot of guys were kind of in what I call the doldrums, that between 4 and 6, where you're oscillating and it could flip way that way or way that. What I mean is, if you think of the world in a 1 to 10, yay good side, yay downside. That 4 to 6 in there,
it's like I could be really good right now, or really
it could go it could go. And thankfully, they were there for me. But a lot of us were in that space, and so really, what we ended up talking about was grief and loss. That we often associate death with grief.
Mm-hmm.
We don't associate the idea that also other losses in our life are similar in that we feel the grief of the loss. It's how change affects us.
Very true.
That the ultimate change is nothing is permanent. In the end. Oh shoot, sorry. In the beginning, Simba's dad dies. Mufasa gotta go. In the end, Mufasa's gonna go. In the end, Simba's gonna go. In the end, we're all gonna go.
I think death, more than any other experience in my life, has taught me how much, like, truly what it means to be a man.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Which is, like, not only do I need to make sure everyone else is okay, but I also need to make sure I'm okay.
Self-care counts.
It's an important piece that I think a lot of men miss one or the other piece.
Oh, I think 100%. I think we lose ourselves in the process.
Yes.
At 50, what I realized turning around, driven by responsibility, and this is going to sound really self-centered, but it isn't. I looked around and realized that the one person that didn't really exist in the things I was doing was me. That's not to say I didn't love some of the things I was doing, but I hadn't, that even the space that I took for me, I spent all of my time brooding about the rest of it and not accepting, like, a funny story that you've heard a million times. I still suffer from this endlessly. I still have trouble setting aside time that I'm allowed to. I may have great joys working on the stuff we're working on.
Right.
But I'm allowed to play World of Warcraft for 2 hours. The reason I don't play is I can't feel good about it.
Right.
So I end up playing something else or sitting here and not really accomplishing anything but just feeling bad. And wishing I was doing another thing but not doing it. And so not being... The trick to life is being present in the things you're doing. If you're doing a show, do a show. Don't put on a show while you're doing a show about not putting on a show, because then you'd be putting on a show as opposed to putting on a show, and that'd be low. So that wouldn't be the show.
I very much now understand a lot of pressure and the pain that the older males in my family feel.
Right, yeah.
Because I think for most people, it would be a lot easier to help everyone else rather than help themselves.
Now, I have an idea. First off, self-care is real good. I don't mean to get away from self-care. One of my concepts of how compassion works is, hey, first off, you got to be compassionate for yourself.
Right.
Because that kind of builds a fire inside of you. You feel better.
Right.
And then what happens is you're compassionate about other people and they're compassionate about you, and actually in the end,
it's none but compassion
you're more supported.
Right.
Yesterday, when I got the phone call from my daughter about my son, we were here in the studio. Our good friends Seth and Maya had just gotten here. We were getting ready to do Freestyle Tuesdays. For those of you that don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, get a hold of us. Tuesday and Thursday, we bring together a group to just work at beats, not creating, but just kind of having a good time with making music in a way that it's amazing the stuff that comes out of it. And then Wednesdays we are hoping to get a group together to write, and we may start doing it live on Discord so that we can bring in people from outside. We actually have Facebook rooms we can use in the same way as Discord or Zoom. Okay, back to what I was talking about now that I've given the big promo for we're trying to do stuff. It was you and Seth and mine. And you guys didn't at first know what the conversation was I was having. You could just tell that something was wrong. You all had a concerned look of, okay, what's up with Matt? And I let you know through the conversation. You know how you do that? Like if
Yeah.
you're in a room of people and you're feeling something, you can make it so they understand
Yes.
that you've just been told
Yeah.
someone's
You
died.
repeat what people say.
I felt so supported. It was so good to have my friends around me. I didn't feel like somebody was trying to fix it. I could feel the just genuine empathy and compassion. I wanted to say thank you to you, to Seth and to Maya, that I felt safe and that meant a lot to me. That a lot of what we're doing is trying to share that feeling. That I was hurting and it wasn't that anybody desperately needed to fix it. It was that people saw me for a real person. Sometimes I suffer from people not seeing me as a real person. Yay, Matt's magic. Magic. Just Matt. And I sit here feeling all of those thoughts of what I could have done different. But I have to let those go. I have to remember the good pieces. I have to remember his excitement about what we're doing. I have to keep him with me and honor him in the ways I can. Hearing both the good and the bad. Another lesson. It's all a lesson. Some lessons suck more than others.
Ain't that the truth?
There are days you're learning calculus. There are days you're just learning how to count.
Yeah.
Days are harder than others.
I would say it also, sometimes it also feels like death can start a domino effect if you're not careful.
I'm so scared about that right now. I'm so scared
not-
of.
I wasn't even just thinking about that, just like, you have to take the time to support other people and yourself, because it could start the domino effect in you and the people around.
That's what
You gotta, tentacles, man.
well, there are people
You know?
there are people farther away from me. People that reaching out wouldn't be appropriate.
Right.
But let's say that happens, and then how does that affect my daughter or or my other daughter?
Right.
Or I am so thankful that my other daughter has a really supportive husband. I'm thankful that the daughter that called me is actually in Florida with a really great guy that's being supportive of her. It shows for the Jasons. The Jasons that we lost along the way. That we wish were here supporting us. Not because we want that for some greedy thought, but we know the joy on their face would have helped us trudge forward. That though humans are imperfect, we miss how much we were loved by our Jasons. We wish that they had more time, not just greedily for us, but for them, for the things, the wonders they could have done and shared. We'll carry the Jasons with us. Help to share what they taught us. The Death Show.
Easy to remember the pain. Try and remember the joy.
In all things. I don't care what you're coming to the end of. I don't care if it's a relationship, a place you're living, a job. Endings are hard, but we take them to heart, and they are the mud from which our flowers grow. that in the end, reality is the hardest lessons in life are taught on the hardest days. Thank you, Jason, for teaching us so much.
Love you, Dad. Feel good about that. Even if I don't feel good, I want to make sure you feel good. Very grateful for the time that we did have.
Everybody have a great day. I know that sounds crazy at the end of the show, but I'm telling you, the only thing I know to counteract death is life. Don't forget to value it. I love you all. The show's for the Jason.
I don't know about you, but I need a hug.
I'm gonna get before I end the show.
Yeah. I had a feeling that was going to be a difficult and an easy show.